hello, 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 hello. I think I'm live on all the feeds. Okay, hi there. Welcome to the Hoopla Y'all show. I am your host, Shay Rippinger of Hip the Hoopla. And with the Hoopla Y'all show, we talk about health, humor, and hooping. On this particular episode, this is number 4 of the My Favorite Hoop Things series. And this one is entitled Putting It All Together, because we already talked about hoop goals in the first episode of this series. We talked about on body moves, and then we talked about off body moves. That was also being on balance, off body and on balance. And this one, we're putting that all together. So on this particular show, I'm going live on 3 cameras here. So you might be watching the live or you might be watching the recording. So hello to camera number 1, camera number 2, and camera number 3. So, and comment, let me know that you're either here with me live or watching the recording. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Who I am Shay Rippinger of Hip the Hoopla. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for being here and for finding this channel and spending the time with me. And if you are one of the fans of the channel, thank you so much. Of my YouTube channel, Hip the Hoopla. I am with hipthehoopla.com, and I am a humorist. I do health, humor, and hooping. I recommend health recommendations because I've been through some of my own things. One of the things I do is I help wise-minded women get happy, healthy, and more holistic with humor and heart, and of course, hula hooping. So that's a lot of fun. And I am the founder of Hip the Hoopla. I've been in business almost a decade now, 9 years this year, and which is very exciting. I've been helping thousands of people all over the world get happy, healthy, and more holistic. And that is pretty cool. And I'm a certified laughter yoga leader and also I've been a cartoonist for a very long time. Part of my logo. It's part of my cartoon designs. And I've also been a professional writer, humorist, and relationship person. So, and I used to work for a health food store, our family's health food store. So with that, I got very interested in health issues, and also having gone through some of my own things, that has been a really eye-opening experience of trying to find ways other than the regular methodologies out there of necessarily Western medicine or going to doctors or getting on drugs to help with things, but actually going with more of a systemic approach of improving the immune system and learning how to be happier and healthier, starting from the inside out. So that's what I do. And, that's a little bit about me. So hi and welcome. Thank you so much. And so again, type in where you're watching from. If you'd like to see me cover some more things in the future, what hoop moves, what health things are you dealing with that you might like some information on, and laughter yoga as well. So we'll be doing that as well. So in the show, I will be going over 4 ways to bring new ideas into your daily practice. I'm also going to give you a relaxing wave breath. That's a laughter yoga exercise. And then I'm going to give you, this is going to be, the putting it all together is the transitions of going from off-body hooping to on-body hooping, or vice versa. In this case, we're going to be doing that little hoop combination, and I will show you that particular hoop combination and some variations with that in this 3rd segment. Okay, so getting started with the first segment here of the putting it all together. All right, so what do? How do we incorporate these new ideas into our daily practice? Number 1, learn something new. So whether that be a hooping move, a dance move, something for your career, it could be a new recipe, it could be whatever is new for you. Learn something new, something that is out of your comfort zone and something new. So for instance, let's just take recipe, for example, and you're going to learn a new recipe using ingredients that maybe you're not familiar with, or doing something in a new way. And then the second step after you learn something new, first step is learn something new, is to transition and test the new stuff. So for instance, you've tried these new ingredients. See if you can readily get these new ingredients, or see if these are flavors that work for your family. If your kids won't eat it, then that's not going to be all that helpful, right? So you want to definitely try and test and transition these new things to incorporate them in. Okay, now that moves in, that actually blends into, I'm foreshadowing, step number 3, which is to blend those new things into your repertoire. So let's say you've tried this new recipe, and are you going to try it like once a week? Might be a little too much. Maybe once a month, maybe once every 3 months or something like that, so that you remember it and get that in, as more of a habitual thing. So it's not just I tried it once and it leaves your brain, it leaves your whole realm of existence. So for instance, I've gone to workshops, and if I find that I teach this with my students as well, and that is to write down the things that you're learning, and that helps with a brain, a neural connection and a body connection as well of the learning, and helps imprint these further into your brain and system and memory. But also to practice it right away. So I tell my students to write down really short notes, just little tiny notes of what they remember in the ways that you want to remember in your language, or in the teacher's language as well. So, for instance, I've got these 4 steps. So you write down these 4 steps, and then real quick, and then incorporate this into how that you want to do it, and put it into practice. That's the thing of right away, is putting that into practice. So you're going to practice this right away. So when I go and I learn this really fabulous new hoop move, what happens is I go to a workshop and they teach a whole bunch of fabulous new hoop moves. And especially if you go to, a workshop weekend or something like that, a summit, a retreat, whatever the case may be. So you might be learning a lot of things, like maybe you went to a cooking class and there were a lot of techniques in there, and maybe you just remember one, but you go home and you practice that one right away, and you incorporate that in. It could be a folding technique of how to mix your batter or whatever, and so that you don't break something, or how you don't curdle something, or whatever the case may be. So when you practice that right away, you will put that into, if it's movement, muscle memory, or if it's other things, you'll put that into the brain, and it'll actually start incorporating and working. So now here's the step. Now, step 4, this is a step that most people don't really consider or leave out. That is to realize and appreciate what you've learned. Yeah, take that in. Realize and appreciate what you've learned. Okay, so I consider this in a before and after. So what you didn't know before, and then what you do know now. Where's your progress now that you've incorporated it? And maybe it's not perfect. Maybe you're not, America's top chef, or you haven't gone to culinary school or whatever, but you've mastered this one recipe and you didn't know it before, and that's great. Or maybe you didn't know this move before, and now you not only know it, you could teach it to somebody else. That's a pretty cool thing. So that to realize and appreciate. So you do your before, do your after, and realize the steps along the way that help get you there to that progress point. So, and that might take some work and effort, time, practice, and patience as well. So be gentle with yourself. And I equated in hooping of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 5 steps forward, maybe just 5 steps forward. So sometimes it's a moving target to get to your goal. So it doesn't always go in I'm doing better, I'm doing better, I'm doing better, I'm doing better. And it always increases and it never decreases. Sometimes you have days where you relapse into whatever. Maybe it's a dietary, change that you're trying to make, or you're trying to cut out sugar, and you're doing great. You're doing all your veggies, and you're doing juices, and you're getting carbs out of there. But then you go to the weekend birthday party, and they have a birthday cake there, and eat a couple slices, and you weren't planning on doing that, and you brought fruit along to quench your cravings, but you ate the cake. Okay, so that might be a step back, but it's not. You don't just give it all up and fall off the wagon and go, oh, it's terrible, I can't do it. You just go, all right, I ate the cake, I'm going to enjoy the cake, I'm not going to feel guilty, I'm not going to beat myself up about the cake. Next meal, maybe do some extra veggies, do whatever it takes to get back on track and to incorporate that in. So that's what I mean by those steps. Sometimes they go, they go progressive, and sometimes they backtrack a little bit and they go progressive again. Sometimes they go fast up, a good start, and then sometimes you plateau out where you're just at this level where change isn't happening, and that's that you need to like get remotivated to move on to the next steps. That's part of the growth process. So realize where you're before is that growth process, and then where you are now. And then you're probably going to want to learn the next thing, and then put the steps all back in to play again, to do the learn something new, to transition and test, to blend into your repertoire, and then to realize and appreciate. So yeah, that's pretty cool. All righty. So now we're going to stand up with me and try this laughter yoga exercise. It's really easy to do. It's quite simple and quite easy. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to get in a nice tall posture. I just realized I'm out of the frame of one of my cameras here. This is what happens when everything goes. Okay, so all right, maybe I shall. Okay, I'm going to sort of sit high in my chair here so that I can be in the camera. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the arms out and nice and tall in the spine, so as if a little string is pulling up the top of your head from the tailbone up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders back, leave the chest out. So we're going to reach the arms out, and as we inhale, we're going to bring one arm over to the side. So inhale in, bring the one arm over, and then as we exhale, we're going to wave, relaxing wave all the way out as we exhale out. And then we're going to inhale it in with the other arm, and then exhale, wave it out. One hand might feel better than the other. So inhale it in, reach it over to the other side, and exhale, wave it out. Try and do this with a smile. You can add a laugh if you want, but this is more of a relaxing breath. Inhale it in, reach it over, and then exhale, wave it out. Let's try 2 more times. Inhale it in, and then exhale, wave it out, and then inhale it in last time, and then exhale, wave it out. Okay, at the end of laughter yoga exercises, we take our hands together and we clap them together twice, and we go very good, yay, twice, very good, yay. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. It is a nice relaxing breath. And what the point of laughter yoga exercises is that we want to get oxygenation into nice capacity with the lungs, and then get the oxygen into the cells. So well oxygenated cells are really good for helping boost the immune system, detoxify the body, and reduce disease and the effects of disease. So that is an excellent way to do why you want to do laughter yoga. And so you can go take deep breaths, you can do meditation, you can do all kinds of stuff, but laughter yoga is a great way to do that rather quickly, because you can laugh or smile, get those endorphins up, get those happy chemicals running through the body. It's very good stuff. So enjoy that. All right, moving on to the third segment here, and that is our hoop transition. So this is the putting it all together. So we did on body. We did when we did the on body in the section 2 of this series, we did hooping both ways. So hooping in one direction and the other direction. And then we also did off body movements. We did a hand balance. That was in show number 3 of this series. And now we could even take this from the hand balance. because we're going to take a hinge move and it is a hinge twist flip. So what a hinge is you're going to take one point. This is like a door. So you're going to hinge the hoop. Okay, so I'm going to give you kind of like the boring version of this first. And so we're going to hinge the hoop. And again, this is going from an off body where the hoop is off the body to an on body move. So we're going to hinge the hoop in. I have the hinge in my right hand. Thumb is pointing up. So I'm going to hinge it over, and then I'm going to grab with the other hand. Now, depending on your hoop size, I have a fairly smallish hoop to work with. Now, I have a teeny tiny hoop here, and then I have a larger hoop. Where'd my larger hoop go? Oh, it's somewhere here. Oh, there it is. A larger hoop as well. So, or you could have a much larger hoop. So now the perspective on this is where you're going to grab your hoop to be able to do this next part and how many rotations you can do depending on the size of your hoop. And I will demonstrate why it's easier to use like a smaller hoop for parts of this and then easier to do a larger hoop for other parts of this. So whatever hoop size you have, adapt the move to how you feel comfortable with it, and also add in your own personal style as well. So again, hinge first. That's the first part of this move. So you're going to hinge from the outside to the inside, and then we're going to grab the hoop. So now I'm going to be flipping the hoop towards me. So I'm going to lower and flip, and I'm going to use these two side access points. So if it's a smaller or medium hoop, you can use these two side access points, and you can do more flips with this. So these flippies, flip, 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 and you can do lots of those. Now, and if you have the smaller hoop, you can do that. You can even, if you have a smaller, lighter hoop, you can interlace it between the fingers and get lots of these little flippies going and do that. So I'm lacing it in between the fingers to do that. Alrighty. And then if you have a larger hoop, this is how you need to go with this. So, or this is a variation of how you can go with this. So you hinge, grab, and then what you're going to do is with a larger hoop, you're going to be grabbing a little bit more towards your end, and you can just flip this over, a simple one flip over, or if you can, so this is the part where it comes in, where a larger hoop, now you can hit yourself with this. So what we're trying to do is not hit ourselves. So if you do have room to curl around and have this hoop spin around and clear your face, now you might want to move your face out of the way a little bit, but I'm trying to curve my body over the hoop. So curve, 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 curve. I can use a more giant hoop. So this is a much bigger hoop, and you're going to transition and flip this in. So hinge, transition, and then flip. Okay. So hinge. So the hinge is at one point, and it's around the middle of the hoop. You're just doing a straight hinge in, and then flip, and then on body. And then you can do whatever you like with this. So here's some variations with this. So if you're hinging, you can hinge, and if you have a really big hoop, you can slide your hands in and then hook the hoop and hinge flip it over that way, and then release the hands and just start waist hooping, whichever direction you want to go. And you can also do this with a little bit of a toss if you want. So hinge, toss, flip. So there's some variations of that you can do. So depending on your level, how you want to practice this, what your style is, what your comfort level or fear factor is of the hoop hitting you in the face. So again, hinge, flip on the body, or hinge, hook, twist, and then on the body. And I'm slowing this down a little bit so that, so when you're doing this, you want to kind of dance with this, and you can turn with this. And that's definitely something to do with this. I also like to do this with a bit of a float. So we're going to float this on the body. So what I mean by a float is we come in and up. So when we're flipping, I'm raising it up and then I'm floating it down. So, and I have a tutorial on how to do a float. I will link that in the description here, so you can check that out. I also have other tutorials as well. So I'm going to link, I have a video on different transitions, including that, and then a really pretty one, like so. So, alrighty. So those are going to be some fun transitions, hoop transitions to do, to go from on body to off body, and then you can definitely take that from off body or on body to off body as well. So there are lots of neat transitions, and one of the reasons why you use transitions, why it's really good to have some good transitions in your repertoire and have them practiced as well, is so that it's not just going from trick to trick to trick, hoop tricks. Those are fun and interesting to watch a little bit up to a point. But then when you have a style or a dance and you have transitions where you can move one thing and blend it into the next thing, that's going to be really beautiful. So, you know, it's just like an orchestra. You know, you have this instrument over here and that instrument over here, and this one's going, 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 going. But if you have that where it blends in and blends out, and it's very melodic because it comes in and comes out, and you watch the orchestra, the conductor move these beautiful instruments in and blend them all together. That's what makes a cohesive, beautiful piece to watch, because it's interesting, it moves, it's alive, it breathes, and it has style to it. So that's, you know, rather than just this horn over here and just this drum over here, or just this hoop trick of, okay, do a chest roll and then a two-handed float. Okay, I got that. And now I'm going to do, you know, an anti-spin, blah, 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 blah. You know, and then two-handed float. You know, it's not that interesting because it's just trick to trick to trick. So I encourage you to add your own style to this, and be more than just a bag of tricks. I don't know if that sounds very good, but anyway, I'm encouraging you to find and develop your own personal style. Add your flair to this. Add your personality. Add your experience of what you've been through. All of this can come out in your hoop dance or cooking or whatever the case may be. So hooping, as I have said before, and I'll say it again, is a metaphor for life. If you drop your hoop, you don't just walk away from it and go, that's just lame. You know, you pick it back up again, because that's part of the process of learning, is dropping it a whole bunch, hitting yourself in the face a few times, dropping it. You know, I mean, when you start cooking, not everything comes out like restaurant quality. Some things are a complete flop, and sometimes you completely waste ingredients trying and learning. And yeah, just try a souffle any day of the week and see how well that goes. So maybe you're brilliant at it the first time and it works and it's great. Or maybe you can pick up on moves brilliantly. I used to do dance auditions, and I choked on dance auditions because I was one of those people, it takes me a while to practice something. So I don't necessarily get something on the first try. I don't get it on the first hearing or the first doing. I need to practice it over and over and over for it to integrate for me personally. Other people are brilliant and they can pick things up. So, and in an audition, you can go, okay, we're going these for first 8 counts, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the next 8 counts, and then the next 32 counts. Okay, everybody got that? Okay, let's go, let's do it. And I'm like, but if you gave me that all that information and I could go home and practice it and then come back the next day, I would be much better at it and much more comfortable with it because I would be able to practice it. But you know, auditions don't necessarily work that way. So hence why, you know, that wasn't my cup of tea of how to get something. But anyway, it's part of the process, and sometimes we have to do it that way. So sometimes you do have to be put on the spot, and you have to do your best. So in that case, do your best. So anyway, but my point is, we all have different learning styles. So take something in, put it into your practice, and incorporate it in. All right, I'm going to go over the nutshell version of what we covered in this show. And real quickly, we learned the 4 ways of blending new ideas into your daily practice. We first learned new stuff. We transitioned and tested out the new stuff. Then we blended that new stuff into our repertoire, got that into habit, got that into our toolbox, our comfort level of things that it was new, it was uncomfortable, it was unknown before, and now we've taken it and blended it into things that we now know and we can do easily. And then we did the realize and appreciate part, where we realized the before and the after, and our progress of how far we've come with that. And then we did the laughter yoga wave breath exercise, where we took an inhale over, and then we exhale and waved it out with a nice smile. Inhale, and then wave and exhaled it out. Yeah. And then we did the hoop transition, the putting it all together from off body to on body. And we did a few variations of this, but we mainly did the hinge flip onto the body and to on body. We also did a variation where we hooked it and flipped it over. And also you can add this in a style. So you don't have to just stand there with this hinge and like, la, la, la. You can really move with this and take this around and experiment with them. So, and then we also, where we tossed it, caught it, hinge flipped it over, and did that as well. So, lots of fun stuff in this show. Lots of good information. I hope you enjoyed this. And again, please like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate you being here. And if there are other things that you would like to learn about health, humor, hooping, anything you'd like to know, let me know. It could inspire a new show. And speaking of inspiring a new show, speaking of inspiring, the dedication for this show, a little late, but it is so hopefully still appreciated. This show was dedicated to a friend and neighbor, Amy. And Amy and her husband, Dennis, and their son, their awesome son, Kane. So blessings to you. This show is dedicated to you guys. And yeah, so that is it. And then we have one more show of this series. I'm going to give you a hint. It's leveling up. So it's going to be really fun. So, and again, if you haven't caught the whole series, there are the hoop goals, the open mind, the off body on balance, and then this was the putting it all together. This was the 4th one, and then the 5th one is leveling up. And then we're going to be moving into another series coming up that is the Body Positive series. That's going to be a really fun one. So definitely stay tuned for that. So again, like and subscribe to the channel, please, if you like this information. And please, sharing is caring. So I would love it if you share this with somebody who might benefit from this. You'd be surprised at how many of your friends might be really appreciative that you thought of them and thought to pass this along. So give that a consideration, and I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. So rock on, peace out. I'll see you guys on the next episode. All right, bye.